Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Small Town Underground. Roy here. Ooh, thank you. Thursday night, we switched it around from Wednesday to Thursday. I was gracious enough to be able to go on Gwinnett County War Room yesterday down in Atlanta with my friend Antonio Jones. If you haven't seen his show, you need to check out Gwinnett War Room. He's got an awesome setup down there, awesome studio, and he's on fire right now, folks. He was able to host the fourth hour of the AJ show. He who would not be named. I'm not going to name him because I tried to make a plug about it on here, and immediately my post got removed. So Facebook is just messing with me. I've shared this out to a few groups, and Facebook is doing some weird stuff now when you start sharing it out to groups because it gets out there. So it kind of starts limiting how much I can send it out. So if you feel like sharing it out to some of your friends, family, in other groups to help get the word out, I encourage it. Also, before we get started this evening, I just want to send a very special thank you. I'm continuing to get some donations in for the show. We do have some plans coming up to use the money coming in, as well as continue to pay for the tech equipment that we're getting and expanding. So I just want to say I really appreciate it, and you can support me. And believe me, I need the support, guys. And if you want to, if you can go to givesendgo.com/smalltownunderground. I know some people have been hitting me up on Messenger and giving in different ways, and I think that's amazing. I absolutely hate money, and I hate asking, but the more that we get active and out and about, it requires money. And so if you can, please help support. If you can't, it's no problem. I completely understand, but thank you to those who are believing the show and are helping. It's really, really going a long way. So, I don't even feel bad about asking because I see so much corruption and money. We're going to get into a little of that this evening. That at the very least, you can hold me accountable for any dime that you put my way for the show, because at least you know that it's going back into the community and it's not being used for some nefarious purpose. Like so much of our money is being used. It's insane. But I appreciate you guys joining in tonight. I got the comments should be embedded, and let's see if I can. Oh, cool. Let's see if I can. Oh, yeah, that's really neat. I can actually. Okay, I've got the chats pulled up now, so hopefully, I'll be able to see them and they won't be gone. I've been trying to update some of this stuff, so if you are out there and you're listening, just drop a line in and say, hey, I can hear you fine. I double checked everything, but our track record is not the best. So before we get into the news, I want to go ahead and pull this up, guys. This is the big event. I'm going to keep pushing this out. It's Saturday, September the 7th. We have a whole lineup full of people, great people that's going to come together. A lot of people continually ask me, what is this big event for? And I'm just going to be honest with you. I mean, we've got an crazy, insane election cycle coming up in November. The possibility of Trump getting elected either way is going to be enormous, astronomical in what we're going to be facing. And then not only that, but if he gets elected, of course, when he gets elected, we've got the rest of the time between then and Christmas until Inauguration Day. And if your head is not in the sand, then you understand that we still have an uphill battle. So I call this big event the gathering of fellowship. There's not any certain sort of, we're not following a story here. It's a bunch of people coming together and speaking their hearts and minds while everybody just has a good time and fellowships with each other. That's what the big event is, okay? And yes, Judge Joe Brown is going to be there, and he's going to be present with us that day. We got a lot of good speakers lined up. We've got some good food lined up. We've got a lot of good vendors that are coming out that we can connect with. So that's really all this is about, and it's not about, it doesn't have any sort of agenda other than, hey, let's get together and have a great day down in Loganville at Lucretia's house. And we'll continue to bring more to you, and hopefully have more to post in our event. You can go to facebook.com and look up the events for the big event, and probably reshare that out. But I'm looking forward to it. We have a big crew that's going down Friday evening, and we're going to get up there early and set up and have everything ready to go. And then we're just going to all kind of chill out and fellowship. And I'm going to do some interviewing there that I'm going to put out later. So I'm looking super forward to Friday night, just being able to pitch the tent out there with some close friends and just have a great time. So, make plans to come out and check everything out with us at the big event. So you can always message me for more details. It is a free event, and man, it's going to be good. The last one we did over there was great. Had a really great time. This one is going to be even better. So, let's see. I'm going to jump right in tonight. So I've got a lot of stuff to cover. But the first thing I'm going to get to, and I'm going to tie all this in because I named this one Why Your Vote Counts. And I'm just going to say at the end of the day, we know that Trump Force 47 is out there. We're door knocking. We're doing all these things. We know that our election systems are battered and torn. Our institutions are wounded, to say the least, wounded. I mean, all across the spectrum, whether it's federal or state, local. And we've made huge grassroots strides over these last few years to try to correct some of the muck that we're facing, right? We've really, really, really tried. And it's not fallen on deaf ears. It's not been a waste of time. But at the end of the day, you and your family and your friends and everybody you know must go out, and they must vote in this election. That is how important it is, because every time we make a stride forward, we get three steps back, right? And we know already that we're living in a country that they're not even taking the presidency seriously. They're not even they're not taking any of us seriously. We're having to live in this idiocracy day in and day out, and view some of the stupidest things on earth. And I hope I can pull it up. I'll try, but if you haven't seen it, I wasn't prepared tonight. But the latest commercial showing Kamala Harris talking about how high inflation has gotten, and people can't afford school clothes and food, and then they cut to her saying that's Bidenomics. Bidenomics is great. It's a beautiful commercial. I don't know who's running their media over there, but they finally got some good stuff out there. That's some hard-hitting stuff, because we know a picture's worth 1,000 words and a meme is worth 1,000,000. So getting those types of videos out there is absolutely fantastic. So that's something that's going good for the movement. I want to double check something real quick before I start. All right, Dorothy says Trump 2024. Amen. Thank you for tuning in. So let's jump right into it. So the first story that I want to cover this evening and bring up, this is a local story from Whitfield County. This is just kind of breaking now. I'm going to cover this first, then we'll go to the video. But it's some need-to-know information, because we're getting pounded by taxes all over the place. And it's always something day in and day out, right? And the people are watching. So let's look at this article. This was something that broke on the 27th, 2 days ago. And this is from the Dalton Daily Citizen. It says, judge expected to decide if sane must sign tax digest. And we've got an update to this, but let's just cover it real quick. So it says Whitfield County Tax Commissioner Danny Sane is scheduled to appear in Superior Court on Thursday to explain why he will not sign the 2024 tax digest. Under state law, the tax commissioner must sign the tax digest certifying that it is accurate and send it to the State Department of Revenue. Sane said he cannot, in good conscience, sign the proposed tax digest for this year. And this is said. He goes on to say, quote, "It's the first time in 32 years I've not signed the digest," he said on Tuesday. "I've never, ever even contemplated not signing the digest before, but the company they brought in to help with the assessments has to have made some terrible mistakes." All right, let's see here. This is the meat and potatoes of this situation. It says, Even though the average values of our commercial and industrial properties had increased, the assessors had dramatically reduced more than 800 of our commercial and industrial accounts by more than $50,000, Sane wrote in a letter to the Board of Assessors. Earlier this year, some of these decreases were in the millions. This decrease in specific commercial and industrial property was coming at a time when over 7,000 homes had been increased by more than 50%. I knew immediately what this meant. It meant that there was about to be a dramatic shift in Whitfield County's tax burden from business and industry to homeowners. So I want you to think about that for a second. Think about what we're learning in Catoosa County with a 28.6% tax hike. What are we learning by two separate millage rates, the regular commissioner's tax millage rate versus the Board of Education millage rate? And then we look at this from across the board, that it's almost as if just a piece of paper was just handed out to every county in this state and said, hey, this is the number you need to give us. It doesn't matter how you get it or where you get it, make it happen. See, we are taxed to death, and we are all, as just regular citizens, starting to figure out and understand how complex this tax system is, with the millage rates and the separate millage rates and the percentages that were wrote into law on how they couldn't drop below 14 mil. And in Whitfield County especially, and I'm just speculating, but the people that I speak to that live in Whitfield County, the biggest thing they bring up is their water bills, right? They talk about, Dalton was the carpet capital of the world, huge amounts of industry, growing by leaps and bounds, and some of that industry has slowed down quite a bit. So there's a lot of empty, vacant buildings there. These industries aren't using as much water as they once did. And so according to people that I've spoken to, the water companies are not going to, rate everything back down or accept a loss in their revenue. So what are they doing? They're passing that burden down to homeowners. So the homeowners have to pay higher water rates to compensate for less water being used. I mean, it's kind of insane how that works, right? I'm not a tax assessor, and I'm not an attorney or anything. This is speculation. This is what the people are telling me. But when I look at a story like this from the Dalton Daily Citizen, the tax commissioner is refusing to sign the tax digest because they've decreased the taxes on businesses, but they've increased the taxes on homeowners. There's something to be said about that. It doesn't jive very well. We've got to figure all of this out because we are being taxed to death. Every county is either rolling back millage rates or raising the school rates, and it's all as we've seen, it's all finger pointing in every single direction. They want to point the finger back to the state, back to the legislature. The legislature is pointing their finger back to the school boards and the tax commissioners, and all of these things are going on. And it's a merry-go-round, and nothing is getting done, right? And when have we ever seen anything decrease in our life, right? Because the entire system is built on an upward trajectory of taxes, and we're being taxed to death. We're being taxed out of our homes, out of our communities, out of our businesses. It's insane. And at some point will be a breaking point. We have to identify these things, whether we need to sit down and have community organizing, people sitting down in little think tanks. I don't know what it's going to take, but this is insane. And mind you, go back to, let's just use an example of Donald Trump for a minute. Donald Trump, during his presidency, how much did he ask for a border wall? I think it was all upwards of $20 billion to build a border wall. Now go back in your memory hole and remember that Congress, everybody was astounded at Donald Trump for wanting to spend that kind of money, and all of these omnibus bills spent by the multi-billions of dollars, trillions of dollars, right? And then fast forward to the fact that we are just, our government is just printing money out of thin air and sending it over, not even over to Ukraine, but sending it right to the military industrial complex to build weapons of war in upwards of $160 billion, right? So think about these things that have been kind of dumped in the memory hole, and then they're raising taxes on you. Okay, it's the same thing as the Hyundai plant down in near Savannah that is literally going to deplete the water wells upwards of 15 feet for the community. So bad, they've already set up a community fund, right? They've already got all their ducks in a row. They've already pre-planned all of this. They don't give two craps about water, right? Because they need that water to make those cars, because Georgia's the #1 state to do business in, right? But guess what? They're coming down on you because you're using a lawnmower to mow your yard. You're using too much water. You are eating the beef. You are the one that is affecting climate change. Where's all the climate change activists that in these large corporations that are doing this? Do you see the double standard? They want you to believe one thing while doing a completely opposite. And it's insane. And as we move onward, we have to figure this out. We've got very smart people down in the community level. It's no longer business as usual. We're going to have to get cozy with our tax commissioners, our Board of Education, all of these places that are taking their taxes and our taxes and raising them. And we're going to have to figure this out with the state. This cannot stand, all right? And don't make no mistake, it's not happening just here. It's happening across the board. It's something very scary and real that I'm finding out. And it's absurd. So let's go forward, and we're going to watch this video. We're going to actually watch it together because I didn't get a chance to watch it. It was just sent to me. But this is a little bit of a recent update from today when they had a tax assessors meeting. Actually, it's in the Superior Court judge chambers because they were threatening to arrest him. So here we go.
Summer's ending, the new school year is here, and the rainy season is
Don't
just
tell me we
around
got
the
to
corner.
watch that.
Is your roof ready? Now is the perfect
what.
time to replace your roof with Armor Exteriors. Upgrade to a stronger, more
No
durable
way. Okay, 17 seconds. I'm going to put that down for just 10 seconds. But like I said, they had a meeting today and threatening to arrest him. As far as I know, he did not get arrested. But we'll move on to the next piece of material on this in a second. Here we go. Okay.
Danny Sain had to go to court after not signing off on property tax notices.
We're waiting on a judge's decision on if the assessor's office has the power to bring Sain to court and have him sign it. Dallas Payton has the story for us.
Whitfield County Tax Commissioner Danny Sain is in charge of signing the digest once the assessment for property taxes is made. While reviewing them, he noticed that a lot of property taxes had increased by 50%.
There's escrow accounts and people make payments on their taxes to their banks, and it almost doubles their taxes when that happens because they go up for this year and up for next year because they got a plan for the following year.
Troy Beeson is a homeowner in Whitfield County. Beeson says his property tax increases annually, but for 2024, it was showing a $75,000 increase.
Well, it puts a homeowner in a position of what does he do as far as living goes. I had a plan for retirement next year, and based on Social Security, when this kind of tax increase comes around, it would take 1 month of Social Security just to pay that tax bill, and that's unfair.
While the property assessment showed an increase for many homeowners, Sain says many commercial businesses decreased drastically.
But what the problem was, along with these homes going up that high, a lot, 800 or 900 commercial properties were going down by 50s and hundreds and $200,000 and $300,000, and some of them by the millions. And you cannot remove the burden of taxation from the industry and put it on the backs of the homeowners.
Sain has an idea of how property taxes should be paid this year due to the big increases and decreases in taxes.
Is that we take the digest that was approved for 2023 and we send tax bills out based upon that because that was approved. And then that's a temporary digest. Then the Revenue Department and the assessors can make their values more palatable, more what it needs to be for the people. And I can send a subsequent bill either for more or for less.
The deadline to get it signed to the state was extended to October 1st. For Local 3 News, I'm Dallas Payton.
Okay, so you heard it there first.
The new school year is here.
Okay, so the deadline has been extended to October 1st, which will explain the next bit and pieces. But if you're following along and you're going to understand what he's trying to say, because they've lost revenue of taxes on the industry. They're just basically swapping it over, and they're inflating the homeowner prices so that they have to pay more taxes. So you never stop actually paying any less taxes, and in fact, you pay more. I mean, this is not going to work. And I don't know what it's going to take for the people to understand this, especially our elected officials, right? This is the levee is breaking here. We're to the point now where we cannot stand this any longer. We cannot stand these kind of taxes. And there's other states out there that are going through this, but we literally pay an income tax in Georgia on top of a federal tax. This is insane what kind of taxes we're paying here. And to think that people are just going to accept this, I guess because it's been business as usual this whole time. I don't know anybody can accept these kinds of increases going on here. This is kind of insane. And we need to bring some light to it. So people of Whitfield County, I wanted to show you. Let me make sure that I don't have, okay. Yeah, that's the last story I have there, but I wanted to show you this very quick. There is a meeting in the morning, and let's look at it right here. Let's see what this says. It says the Whitfield County Board of Tax Commissioners, they posted this supposedly about 5 p.m. today, and it starts tomorrow, which will be the 30th at 9 a.m., and they said the first will ratify written mandamus needed signed quickly, all in agreement. Discussion of 2025 values approved being in compliance regardless of the value tax, I guess. Or is that what that says? Value change. And the chief appraiser updates review 2023 DOA results. Now, I don't know what kind of difference that this is going to make, but I mean, we're all learning here. Everybody here is learning just how crazy the tax system is and how much of a bind that it's putting people in. So you could probably make arrangements to be there and, let your voice be heard. Now, I'm going to tell you something, and I didn't get to go to the Walker County School Board with so many different things going on with work. And I believe theirs was a 7% tax raise. I was reading the paper this morning where the commissioner rolled back taxes in Walker County. So we didn't have quite a drastic change as Catoosa County, but Catoosa County had to go through they're having to go through a 28.6% property tax hike, which we will continue to monitor and do an addendum on because there are people working very, very hard in Catoosa County to figure all of this out. And I mean, it's voted in. They voted it in, and I'm not going to sit here and just completely rag on on the school board because this is going to pass either way, just like the threat of them arresting this tax assessor in Whitfield County, because certain school board members that I was told, and I'm speculating in Catoosa County, were told they could be arrested if they didn't raise these property tax hikes. So somebody is lying here. Somebody has more control over these things than they're letting on. But it looks to me like this is, I liken it, my personal opinion is if the state has 159 pieces of paper and every one of them has a tax number on it, and they just handed out their county's tax number and said, make this happen, this is what you need. And if that's the case, I don't understand why we have commissioners, why we have school board, a school board to begin with, why we elect these people, if they're not fighting for lower taxes and they're not fighting for the property owners, the homeowners, the schools, the teachers, all of these things. Because this is some crazy, crazy stuff. And it's almost like the dominoes go 1, 2, 3, they just keep falling. Chattooga County, I believe they had a millage, or at least they held, the commissioner there held the millage rate or rolled it back a little bit. I'll have to do some research on it. But some counties have been gradually raising. And that's the thing. We're all about neck and neck when you look at across the board, because some counties been gradually raising this stuff up and then some counties been lacking. It's a huge, huge mess that we, the people, have to get involved with. We cannot sit on the sidelines any longer. We must get involved in our local politics and find out what in the heck is going on before we're taxed out of existence, right? Because we know that part of this global one world order, they don't want us even owning anything. So if you think that this is just coming out from nowhere, okay? And I go back to the chicken debate in Catoosa County. That was over a year and a half ago, right? Well, those same chicken debates are going on down in South Georgia right now in different areas. And it's almost as if all of this stuff is being pushed like blanketed over everything. They're taking their orders, folks. They're taking their orders from other places. That's the only thing that makes sense to me at all, is that all of these people are just taking their marching orders, and this is what has to be done, and there's nothing you can do about it. And we've been sitting on the sidelines for so long. We've not been paying any attention. We've had it good, and here now it's starting to affect us in ways where it's really hurting the checkbooks. And now we're getting involved, and we have to keep that momentum up. We have to figure this out. The more that you get into the law, the more that you understand how all these things are set up as a partnership, and the more we need to figure out how we stop some of this overtaxation before it gets too late. I mean, it's crazy to me. So I hope that everybody out there in Whitfield County is making plans so that they can go to that meeting tomorrow, listen to what's going on, because from what I can see, the tax assessor seems to be standing up for the people and letting us know that this isn't right. So we'll keep following that. It's wild stuff. All right, so we're going to move on. I hope I'm not frozen up. Make sure. Got a lot of ground to cover, so. Yep, we're good. Okay, so let me go back here and see if my chats are here. And check your encoder settings. Well, all right. Looks like I lost my chats there, but I saw Lisa up there. Lisa Adams, happy birthday, by the way. It's her birthday today, and she is out there like a lion, going to all these meetings, trying to figure this out, trying to report back to all of the people everywhere of what is really going on. And we thank you for that. Just wanted to, let's see, let everybody know, too, if you don't know, from the Washington Post, Harris to barnstorm through Georgia in effort to put state back in play. So I want to read a little bit of this to make everybody aware. Northwest, southeast. Apparently, she's going to be in South Georgia. So, of course, she's not going alone. Vice President Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz will travel across South Georgia on Wednesday, which would have been, I guess, yesterday. So she's already here. Of course, they posted the same day. And the pair's second bus tour in 2 weeks, and the first burst of campaigning since Democratic National Convention, which was absolutely horrendous. The tour, which will end with a Harris rally in Savannah on Thursday, which was today. Well, dadgum, I'm a little bit late. I had that story. I was sitting on it for a couple of days, but of course, I guess she was in Savannah today, so I didn't even see anything. It's probably pretty lackluster, but I guess she's already gone, right? But anyway, we need to keep tabs on Harris and where she's at so that we can continue to monitor, because she is an absolute train wreck. All right. So I want to jump into these few stories before I get into the election integrity and why we need to vote. So I want to talk just a little bit about this story from Revolver. Breaking: the U.S. government-funded censorship arm Atlantic Council targeted Telegram just 2 months before the Durov arrest. So everybody knows that the owner of Telegram was arrested in France. France. He's got dual citizenship. And this was an exclusive that came out that the U.S. government-funded censorship arm, which is called the Atlantic Council, targeted Telegram just 2 months before Durov arrest. So we're going to be looking into the Atlantic Council to see what kind of bull crap this is. But French authorities arrested Russian-born dual UAE French citizen Pavel Durov last weekend as he disembarked his private plane in Paris. Durov, who's the CEO and founder of popular messaging app Telegram, faces a number of serious charges from French authorities, ranging from drug offenses to child sexual exploitation offenses. So what this is talking about here is they're trying to charge him on Telegram because he refuses to give up, I guess, the encryption that we use on Telegram. So they're literally trying to charge him with all these heinous crimes because they're saying that people can freely, get away with crime on Telegram. This is absolutely insane. I mean, if Elon Musk or anybody like that was going to be going to, I hope they're not planning on going to Europe because these people are crazy. They're coming for blood, folks. They're coming for blood. They're coming at every single term to take away our free speech all across the board. Anybody that stands in their way of not being able to be controlled, you name it. And Telegram seems to be a free and open app that you can talk to people, that you can have conversation with, and they're literally trying to charge him because he would not comply with their orders to basically create back doors and let them come in, just as they did in the Twitter files, and as we're going to get to Zuckerberg in just a minute. So make no mistake that this is not going to stop, and they're going to, well, as Trump said it, they're not after me, they're after you. He's just in the way. The First Amendment is in their way in America, and they are chipping that away at every single turn. Okay, they don't believe these Democrat, these liberal communists. They don't believe in the Constitution. They want to see it completely gone. They don't believe in freedom of speech, like Tim Walz says. It's crazy how we're seeing CEOs being arrested and charged for this stuff. It's scary, a little bit scary, because they're going to soon be coming after us. I continue to think that at some point that this stream and we won't even be able to communicate because it's happened in the past. I've said it before. So they will be coming and zeroing in on us as we continue to search for the truth, share free speech. And make no mistake now, they're going after the CEO. So what do you think that's going to happen next? It's a little bit wild out there, folks. And then I'm going to just pause real quick on that and break in with this because I thought this was a little disturbing. But if anybody didn't see or listen to the Tucker Carlson interview with Robert F. Kennedy, which very much welcome Robert F. Kennedy over to Trump's team. I have a lot of respect for Robert F. Kennedy, and no, I'm not saying I would vote for Robert F. Kennedy at all, but the fact that he's a smart guy and he's been fighting for a lot of good things for a long time. And he has really put a chink in the chain, or so to speak, because the Democrats have had their heads rolling and spinning for days over this. But I urge you to watch that interview if you haven't yet. It's pretty enlightening, and it just backs up my point for where I'm going next. But this is from Zero Hedge. Several states refused to remove RFK Jr.'s name from the ballots, hurting Trump. So before I read into this, if you listen to the interview, this was a strategic move by Robert F. Kennedy, one that I welcome very much. It's a smart move, but Robert F. Kennedy will still be on the ballot in several states. He's not rescinding his entire campaign. What he was doing was, in order to help the Trump campaign, he was going to take his name off the ballot in 10 key states that would hurt Donald Trump by all the metrics. He has every single right to do that. He got on the ballot in all 50 states, and this is the level of low that the Democrats and the government are willing to go to stop this from happening. Now, like I said, this is a strategic move, one that can be done. It's not illegal, anything like that. But let's read a little bit of this article and see what's going on here, so you can get the full picture. This blows my mind. Okay, so, oops. After Robert F. Kennedy Jr. dropped out of the presidential race last week and threw his support behind former President Trump, which he did not drop out of the race. That's a lie. If you go back and you're listening to the interview, he explains exactly what he did. Several states have refused to remove his name from the ballot after he announced he would do so in about 10 swing states. See, A perfectly legal move to do, yet they're now trying to block him from removing his name. This is absolutely insane. It says, our polling consistently showed that by staying on the ballot in the battleground states, I would likely hand the election over to the Democrats, with whom I disagree on the most existential issues, Kennedy said just before endorsing Trump. 3 key states have dug in and are refusing to remove his name. So far, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Colorado. And if you are a viewer and you live in any one of them states, I kind of feel sorry for you. Those are just whacked out. You've got whacked out government in all 3 of those states. Like I would go so far to say more whacked out than what we're dealing with right now, because this is insane. This is a breaking from George on Twitter at BHizzy tweets. Breaking: following Michigan's example, the Wisconsin Elections Commission just voted 5-1 to keep RFK Jr.'s name on the ballot against his will. Out of nowhere, Democrats have frozen all efforts to remove RFK Jr.'s name from the ballot. However, they still want him removed from, well, we'll finish that one out. Still want him removed from the ballot in deep blue states. You see, this is insanity on all levels. This only conclusion here is that Democrat officials in every state are conspiring to steal the 24 election. I mean, that's exactly what they're trying to do. They will, I'm telling you guys, they were going to stop at nothing. You think we got it in the bag? They are going to stop at nothing. They are literally have said, we are going to see your plan and we're going to raise it by 5. So not only do they want to keep his name on the ballot where he wants him off, they want to take his name off the ballot in the deep blue states. It would do the exact opposite as what he's trying to do. So this is a mess. It is an absolute mess. And Democrats are crazy. They don't give a crap about anything except for winning. They will put, they've put up with a brain dead buffoon in office for years now. And now they're going to put cackling Kamala and Tim Walz, the socialist, in there. Or try to, and that's some scary, scary stuff. But the fact that they're going to these levels, which, yes, Tulsi Gabbard came out today. It's looking really good. A lot of smart people that you want on your side, that you want to sit down in a room with and talk, are coming over to the Trump train. But the level of insanity that the Democrats are pulling, trying to block any measure, no matter if it's legal or not, it is definitely election meddling, right? I mean, we all know that Russia collusion was completely fake. It was completely false. And now they're just out in the open. They are out in the open, blatantly trying to steal the election. And I'll show you here in Georgia exactly what I mean. Folks, if y'all know about this, this is just some crazy, crazy stuff that's going on all over the place. It's hard to, it's just hard to wrap your mind around this idiocracy. So we're moving to Elon Musk next. I want to play this clip here that pretty much sums up what Mark Zuckerberg. So let's talk about this for a minute, and I'm going to play this clip. Come on and play. Oh, somebody better not be messing with my internet. This was actually posted from Elon Musk, said concerning, from Michael Schellenberger. Let me see if I can reload this page real quick. Maybe had a glitch in the matrix. Here we go.
Further than what he told Joe Rogan.
Let's start it over. Here we go.
Zuckerberg's letter went further than what he told Joe Rogan in 2022 because he specifically mentioned Burisma, the Ukrainian natural gas company that Hunter Biden worked for. Zuckerberg wrote, "The FBI warned us about a potential Russian disinformation operation about the Biden family and Burisma in the lead up to the 2020 election. Nobody at the FBI has gone to prison or even been properly investigated for their crimes. And yet the evidence shows that the CIA and FBI broke the Wiretap Act and the Hatch Act of 1939, which prohibits federal employees from using their official authority or influence to interfere with or affect the outcome of an election. First, the FBI violated the Wiretap Act when it misused information it had obtained from spying on Rudy Giuliani. The FBI knew that the New York Post story about the Hunter Biden laptop would be coming out because it was listening to Giuliani's telephone calls. The Wiretap Act, formerly known as Title III of the Omnibus Crime and Control and Safe Streets Act of 1968, requires that information obtained through a wiretap can only be used for purposes directly related to the investigation for which the wiretap was authorized. Misusing or improperly disclosing this information can result in criminal penalties for the individuals involved, and the evidence obtained can be excluded from court proceedings. The FBI both misused and improperly disclosed the information. Second, the FBI spread disinformation, information it knew to be false, in order to interfere in the election. The FBI warned Facebook, Twitter, and others that forthcoming information about Burisma and Biden was Russian disinformation. The FBI knew that the Hunter Biden laptop wasn't Russian disinformation because it already had the laptop in its possession for 10 months and was spying on Giuliani. The FBI knew that the laptop was what it appeared to be, something obtained by a computer repair store owner after Hunter Biden brought it in and never came back for it.
Okay, so that was from Michael Schellenberger, and Elon Musk had reposted this. I followed the Twitter files like crazy. Now, let me just explain real quick. So Zuckerberg comes out, and you know, it's almost like an afterthought now that Donald Trump was almost assassinated, right? It was an assassination attempt a little over a month ago, and it is so far back down the rabbit hole, we still don't have an official story. They're not going to give us an official story on that, okay? No matter the Senate hearings, I mean, everybody knows it stinks to high heaven. Everybody knows that it was done inside, okay? They're not going to tell on themselves. They're not going to come out and give you an official story any longer, okay? Now, I say that because Mark Zuckerberg gave an interview a little after that talking about how crazy it was to see that, right? Of course, it was divine intervention. I mean, there's no question about it being divine intervention. But these people sort of that have been involved in all of this for so long and thought that they're fighting the good fight against the tyranny of the right-wing MAGA and all this stupid crap. Well, their narratives start falling apart when you see an ex-president almost get their blown off, during a live freaking rally, and they have buried this thing. Like, don't let that leave your memory, okay? Because that was something huge, and you got to remember every day that Donald Trump was not supposed to be here right now, this moment, and there was a lot of people that probably knew that, okay? But my point is that Zuckerberg actually talked about how profound it was to watch something like that, to witness something like that, to understand and see that, and what kind of a heroic gesture it was that he actually took the time to hold his fist up in the air, right? So now a month later, we're getting this open letter written from Mark Zuckerberg. If you haven't read it yet, you can find it anywhere. I didn't post it up here tonight. Basically saying, like, putting in stone what we already knew, right? We're called the crazy conspiracy kooks, right? The AJ jars filling up, Oh God, we can't have an independent presidential candidate come out and say there's astrazine in the water, right? That turned the frogs, what? Now it's just, oh yeah, well, that's true. Maybe, just maybe, Mark Zuckerberg is having some second thoughts now that he sees the light at the end of the tunnel, that what has been done to social media, what has been done by the three-letter organizations that are in this nation that are supposed to defend and protect American citizens, yet they're using all of this back on us, right, and trying to shut us down. Now, Mark Zuckerberg, if you're listening to this, or your cronies, or your fact checkers are listening to this, I say put your money where your mouth is and give us back our free speech. Quit messing with us. Quit giving me removals and warnings and all this crap, because this is insane. And you want to do something, why don't you musk up a little some Facebook, right? We need Facebook back. We need to be able to communicate. We don't need to be shadow banned. And if you're serious about this letter, if you're finally coming clean, maybe because your conscience is bothering you, or you finally have seen the light and understand that the boogeyman is not somebody like Small Town Underground, then you need to start cleaning up this app and give it back to the people, because everything that's going on is insane. and how can we can't function under a country of lies that we've been told every day, and we certainly can't function under a country of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. That's absolutely ridiculous. But I thought that was interesting because, you know, think about the past, everything that we've been through going into November, right? The Burisma scandal, the Hunter Biden laptop, the COOF. Everything has turned out to be a lie, a manipulation tactic, okay? And that's also leading up to a point that I'm getting at. But, you know, I want Mark Zuckerberg to put his money where his mouth is and give us back our platforms and leave us alone, for God's sakes. So now for the last part of the show, and then we'll get to comments. I got several to go through, and we'll cover a couple of these quickly. But I'm going to start right here with Rasmussen. So let's talk election integrity for a second. We've had some really big wins in the state of Georgia at the SEB meetings. We've had a lot of people out there fighting tooth and nail to bring changes. A lot of new things this year. Governor Kemp in Georgia, he took the SEB chair and appointed, I don't know, I can't remember the guy's name, but I call him the Waffle King, the owner of the Waffle House. And now he's sitting up on the board while we have three very staunch fighters that's trying to correct all of the mistakes and reopen the investigations and really try to make these elections not only free and fair, but give us some sort of semblance of 2020, right? Because it goes along with everything I'm talking about. There's still people that deny that there was election meddling, especially in the state of Georgia. I didn't say election, you know, the F word. What I'm trying to say is there's still people to this day that are like, give it a rest, leave it alone, this is crazy. And to me, that's more crazy because of all the information that's come out. And especially what we're going to get into the last couple of days. But it's there. We know it's there. Everybody knows it's there. And when you're talking about a rat trapped in a corner of a house on fire, this is what this looks like to me. This is actually insane. So let's just look at some of these developments in the last couple of days. You've seen the SEB meetings. A lot of the people out there were part of this. But here we go with the Rasmussen reports. And I saw this from Greasy Boots last night, and it prompted me to grab this one. So thank you, David. From Rasmussen reports on X, just listen to what this says. For those who question how a generally Republican state suddenly elects 2 Democrat senators in a row and Biden wins over Trump by less than 15,000 votes, you have to question the election process, right? That is perfectly, it's a perfectly good analogy of where we're at, right? And he says, and they still hide 2020 ballots for 4 years. Something stinks, right? Now, so let's go back to 2020 ballots that's being hidden, right? The Fulton County ballots that everybody is trying to find and see, and we can't get our hands on it, right? And let's see. Hold on a second. Oh, that was something before, but I wanted to bring that up. So there you go, in a nutshell, where we're at with this, why we're fighting so hard. And I'll go ahead and read this from Janelle King, and this is her response. My response to Lucy McBath's press conference and all the shameful misinformation that's being shared. And she says, I do not speak on behalf of the board, only as a member. And this is somebody that they're trying to remove. The political tactics displayed are designed to distract from the important work that is being done and to focus attention on those who are doing the work. To clarify, there are no approved rules or rules approved to initiate rule-making procedures that would allow county election boards to violate the law by delaying certification. In fact, it works in the reverse, ensuring that every county election board member has access to all election-related documentation, actually strengthens the certification process. Whew, my blood pressure's going up, y'all. By being fully informed, board members are better equipped to certify with confidence, knowing they have all the necessary information to support their decisions. In response to the accusation of pushing conspiracy theories, I want to clarify that my focus is solely on the facts, not theories. Highlighting errors from previous elections is a crucial step toward identifying and resolving the underlying causes of those errors. I'm going to read that again for all you naysayers out there. Highlighting errors from previous elections is a crucial step towards identifying and resolving the underlying cause of those errors. My mission is not to alter the outcomes of past elections, but to ensure that every vote is counted accurately and every election is conducted correctly going forward. I take offense to the baseless accusations, the intimidations of those who appointed us, and the outright lies that continue to mislead the public in hopes of garnering votes. That is a beautiful, beautiful statement by Mrs. Janelle King. Not even going to waste time on the Lucy McBath because I have some more articles to show you. Man, so you have this information. So let's go. I kind of did it the Pulp Fiction way. I showed you that response first, but that's the way I'm laying it out here. Here's a story from Election Transparency Initiative. Progressives wage intimidation campaign targeting Governor Kemp. Are they targeting Governor Kemp? Georgia Election Board for complying with the state law. So I'd like to get all these articles and post a link so everybody can see it. A week after Georgia's election board agreed to a rule establishing standard procedures for counties to comply with a state law mandating reconciliation of the number of registered voters with the number of ballots cast, a group of activists led in part by Democrat State Senator Nabla Islam Parks, whoever that, what? Is that a nation state? Nabla Islam Parks has urged Governor Brian Kemp to take retaliatory action against 3 board members. The board's recent promulgated rules, including reconciliation, were each duly noticed to the public prior to final approval. So, despite state statute, which explicitly states that the number of ballots exceeds the number of voters in any precinct, such excess shall be deemed discrepancy and palpable error and shall be investigated. So basically, what this article is saying to you, the numbers on the machine must match the numbers of ballots cast. It's not 2 + 2 = 5. It's 2 + 2 = 4. Okay? And they're changing the word, saying they shall be investigated. Okay? Antonio Jones made a perfect analogy the other night on his show. Alex Jones, I believe, made the same analogy. If you're running a cash register and you're in a store and it's your responsibility, you have to balance that register down to the penny. The register knows how much money it takes in, and it expects there to be the money in the till. It's very simple. Very simple. And all that the election board is doing is saying, hey, if the money in the till doesn't match the cash register receipt, there's a discrepancy and it needs to be investigated. Do you understand? Do you understand how simple that is? Do you understand? These people will stop at nothing, okay? They're beside themselves, but let me tell you something. I'll save that. That is what they're fighting against. So they ruled some sort of injunction to urging Governor Brian Kemp, the one that's like, I'm going to take away all the legal, urging him to take retaliatory action against 3 board members, right? Wow, wow, wow. All right. So I'm going to jump to this story, right? So you read that. I'm going to jump to this story right here. This is from Yahoo News, from The Independent. Let me make sure it's pulled up here so you can see it. This is Clown World. I tell you, clown world. Georgia governor inquires whether he can remove MAGA election board members after series of alarming votes. So we didn't have a governor that said, this is insane, man. Can't you see this is 2 + 2 = 4? This is nuts. This is stupid. We're going to throw this out. Well, let's go down here and throw this out. We're going to get rid of it because this is plumb stupid. No. Georgia governor inquires whether he can remove MAGA election board members after a series of alarming votes. I love it how they call it MAGA board members. Oh, so are you just MAGA now if you want to try to do the right thing and try to make sure everything's good? This is freaking insane. Just listen to this. Georgia's governor has asked his attorney general, which is Chris Carr, if he can remove state election board members after 3 right-wing members approved a series of alarming new rules. Alarming new rules. Republican, yeah, that's a stretch. I'll just say Governor Brian Kemp asked Attorney General Christopher Carr for guidance on whether he can remove members of the state election board. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution reports. Couldn't they be sued for using the word Constitution as part of their name? Ugh. This comes after 3 right-wing members of the. I love how these articles are so spun. Of the 5-person board championed and passed a series of new rules that extra requirements for county election boards to certify the results. Under the rules passed this month, mind you, less than 100 days before election day, right? This is so stupid. County boards must make a reasonable inquiry before certifying the election. However, the rules do not define what an inquiry should involve or what reasonable means according to the Journal-Constitution. County election boards are also required to hold a meeting to verify their vote count on the Friday after Election Day, which is before the ballot return deadline for voters overseas and the military. Blah, blah, blah. 3 absolutely awesome members of the state election board, Janelle King, Rick Jeffries, and Janice Johnston, were recently, they had to throw that in. They were recently praised by Donald Trump because they're right-wing extremists, This is so stupid. Let's see here. Is there any more? Lucy McBath, a Democrat, called the board's new rules a concerted effort to subvert democracy and move us backward. I mean, this is clown world, y'all. This is clown world. She quote, with passing this new rule, they are creating barriers to counting votes and certifying the election so Donald Trump can once again attempt to throw our country into chaos. Well, talk about the pot calling the kettle black. This is ridiculous. I mean, this is so ridiculous. The Democrat Party has sued to challenge the rules, arguing that they could delay certification and lead to disputes over the vote. And of course, Kamala Harris endorsed this suit. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we back in 2020 there was I'm trying to think. Wasn't there like a leaky toilet or a dripping faucet at that State Farm Arena, right? Wasn't there like some sort of like little drip, or there was a mouse caught in a trap somewhere, or somebody lost a fingernail, right? I can't remember exactly what it was. Or maybe somebody dropped a milkshake on the floor. Something happened at that State Farm Arena while I was watching the TV there. Then they said, we're going to have to shut down the election tonight. We can't finish counting. And it magically happened all over the country in several key states. And I saw these pictures. I don't know if they were construction workers or what, but they were just taking pieces of cardboard and duct taping them up along the windows and saying, "Oh, you can't come in here." And they were sending all of the poll workers and poll watchers home while they were pulling out suitcases full of God knows what, and and grabbing stacks outside of Joe Rossi's, and shoving them in machines. I mean, they're literally trying to tell you that, well, if the vote tabulators don't match the machines, that's going to delay the election. And that's not right. The election should be certified no matter what, because that's going to slow down the election process. Never mind the fact that we shut down the election in 2020 because, Rhonda dropped her milkshake in the floor. This is insane. Now, mind you, less than 100 days before election, and this is the mentality that these people have. I told you they couldn't do the same thing they could do in 2020, right? But they don't even give a crap anymore, right? We obviously know they don't care about the rule of law. They don't care about the government. That they've got the media, they've got the 3-letter institutions on their side, the government's on their side, all of these things, and it's against we the people. It's not against MAGA. It's Democrats. They're stupid enough because they didn't even get to pick their candidate, for God's sakes, right? And they're going along with it. But here you have this absurdity coming from the Democrat Party, and nobody's doing anything about it. And guess what? Our governor is worried, and he going to his Attorney General, Chris Carr, well, what do I need to do about this? I could tell you one thing that you could grow that would make all the difference. A set, you could grow a set of these, I'm not going to say it, and tell them to piss off. This is stupid. But like I said, we don't have a governor who wants to fix the elections. We don't have a Secretary of State that wants to fix the elections. I don't even think we have a legislature in the state that wants to fix the elections, right? And I'll get to that in a second. But this is insane. This right here makes my blood pressure go up just leaps and bounds. This is insane. It's insane that we have a Republican legislature, Republican Senate, a Republican governor, and we're dealing with this kind of crap, with as much activism that's going on, with as much evidence and information that we have. It screams complicity. How can you be this naive? How can you pretend? How can you even address the idiocracy without being complicit? And that's my question, right? You expect me to believe or not speculate that there's some complicity going on here? You see my point? I think you're crazy if you don't think that people don't see this. Because this is insane. With all these things, see, so now they're trying to ramrod the state election board. This is a good one by the Federalists, and it's the same thing, but this is the right-wing take on it. Dems want Georgia county officials to rubber stamp elections, no questions asked, DNC suit says, which is virtually what it says. So this was all from Monday. The DNC filed a lawsuit Monday over new Georgia election integrity rules, essentially demanding county officials rubber stamp the elections. Now, I find it very interesting that all of a sudden the SEB meetings went from, grassroots activists saying, hey, we need to fix the elections, to now the DNCs just magically got involved, and they can just ramrod a lawsuit in where other suits take years to process, right? Years for people to get stuff through. But all magically there's this wonderful DNC lawsuit that just races through the Georgia legislature on Monday, and everybody's covering it, right? According to this article, the Georgia State Election Board passed a series of rules clarifying that county election board members have the right to make reasonable inquiry. Wait, that's all it was? Reasonable inquiry into the elections before start? Wow. All we want is to be reasonable. Huh. Another rule clarifies board members are entitled to review election-related material as part of such an inquiry. Why do we have board members if they're not entitled to review this stuff? This is ridiculous. But the Democrat National Committee, I read that wrong, I read it right. The Democrat National Committee, alongside Georgia Democrats, filed a lawsuit Monday over the rules. Wow, that was super quick, Governor Kemp. Wow, y'all let that go through quick. Essentially demanding the courts force county election officials to rubber stamp elections without any questions asked. And here are the rules, the SCP, the Rule 183-1-12-02, clarifying that election boards can fulfill their certification responsibility after reasonable inquiry that the tabulation and canvassing of the election are complete and accurate. Wow. They also approved another amendment which requires permits board members to view all election-related documentation created during the conduct of elections prior to certification results. And what's so crazy about this is that this should be standard. This should be standard in our election process. Why would this not be standard in the election process, right? All of this work, and these people are just fighting back. Wow. Courts across the country have expressly acknowledged that giving election officials the discretion to refuse certification would both threaten to disenfranchise voters and create opportunities for election fraud on part of those officials. Well, you know what? If it was reasonable that you could make sure that it matched and you had a person that was acting fraudulently, it'd be a lot easier to spot, wouldn't it? Oh, it'd be a lot. Oh, and there's that DNC suit allegations the rules would delay certification, right? Oh, yeah, well, I'm sorry. Delay certification, well, let's hope there's not another runny toilet at the State Farm Arena in November. I mean, this is insane, guys. Whew. So let's move back here. Here's another one from WAED, from PBS NPR. Oh, National Public Radio. So look, the Democrats. I didn't even see this picture earlier. So you look at the Georgia for Truth voter. Georgia had the steps filled with people, and this is all that we demand: fair elections. Man, these people are rotten to the core. I'm telling you, they're just absolutely rotten to the core. This is insanity. We demand fair elections. It's just laughable. I mean, lawsuit challenges Georgia's laws, new election certification rules, right? Wow. I'm beyond words here at reading this idiocracy and having, like, this was all pretty much directly related to the fact that the Waffle King got overruled the other day, that last SEB meeting, where they could open up an investigation, an independent investigation into the ballots of Fulton County, see? And now the hammer's dropping. Do you think that these people just came together on a whim? No. This is a coordinated effort, guys. This is a coordinated effort involving our state government to put a lid on everything that has been going on. They are rats in the corner. There's mouse traps everywhere. They cannot get out, and they know that the ship is sinking and that the pressure is mounting. All of the grassroots activists that have kept going on and on and on and grouping together, and shame on these stupid Democrats for not even getting involved and wanting a free and fair election, because by God, this will come back to bite you something awful, right? But here, like I said, here we are making huge strides and getting down to the meat and potatoes, the Joe Rossi information, the Georgia Nerds information, the Voter Georgia information, the Georgia for Truth. They're pushing. Then all of a sudden the SEB decides they're going to do Zoom calls, but not before they have a room full of Democrats and lawsuits ready to go. I'm talking about faster than a McDonald's cheeseburger in the court system saying, you can't do this. You're going to delay the election. This is where we're at, folks. You need to understand how serious that all this is, all right? Trump, this is from USA Today. Trump approved Georgia election officials' new rules could spur doubt and suspicion. My God. It's all the same talking points over every single paper. This is from USA Today. Trump says Georgia election board members are pit bulls for victory, but is that their job? Oh, yeah. It's nuts, guys. We made huge strides, and so I think the last one I want to share before I get to my final point is this. This is from Jeff Fulgham, and Jeff Fulgham has been out and about and really shaking things up. So he posted, and this is at Jeff M. Fulgham. Let me show you why the deep state election industry doesn't want Georgia counties to reconcile the number of votes with the number of voters before certification. SCB case 2023-25 confirmed 3,125 fake double scan ballots in Fulton County in 2020. Since that case was filed, Philip Davis, aka Mad Liberals, has increased his finding to around 4,000 fake double scan ballots in Fulton's machine recount. Oh, sorry about that. I want to make sure I was following Mad Liberals, and I am. Oh no, I just got rid of that. Sorry, guys. Dadgummit. Anyway, let me see if I can go back to Jeff Fulgham real quick. Crap. I hit the wrong button. Oh, well. Dadgummit. Hang on. I know I'm going a little bit past time, but let me see if I can find that. I really wanted to explore here. Let's see, Jeff Fulgham. It's worth it. There it is. Let me pull this back up real quick. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that awesome group of people out there. Here it is. Here it is. So let me pull this back up real quick. I do apologize for that. And as you can see on X, he says, All right, increased around 4,000 fake double scan ballots in Fulton's machine recount. But if a ballot is counted twice, they need 2 voters to match the 2 votes. 1 real vote, 1 fake vote. In other words, they add a fake voter to the fake vote. There's other scenarios of how fake double scan ballots correlate with voters, but I just wanted to show you one reason why the deep state election industry is frightened at the thought of Georgia citizens hand counting ballots at the precinct level. And there's his receipt. There, you know, the duplicated images. So all of this, I've said all this to say, you in Georgia, we are one of the 10 states. You have some of the greatest grassroots fighters in the state of Georgia that have made so many strides to I can hear people in my head now talking about, you still talking about 2020. That's the stupid thing. Okay? The whole point of this grassroots movement is you have to fix what is wrong before you can use it again. It's the definition of insanity, right? You keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. That's the whole point. Nobody in this movement is trying to do this because of Donald Trump. Okay, of course we want Donald Trump to be our president. The bottom line is that we have so much better of an understanding of just how far down the rabbit hole this election integrity goes, right? And to the point to where they've been stalling. They have been stalling the American people. They've been stalling you. I told you this a couple years ago when I first started. We would be on these Dominion systems in 24, and here we are. And it's not that I need an I told you so or anything like that, but you got to understand the nature of the beast. They are not going to give up themselves. They are not going to tell on themselves. They're not going to grow a conscience, and they're not going to just come out and say, you know what, you're right. Ha ha, you got me. Because I guarantee you they're 10 steps ahead now, working with people in our very movement, paying these people off, dividing these people all around because they want to continue to stall until the 2024 election, until the statute of limitations run out. And every time that we can get a victory, every time we can get, and I don't even call it really a victory, every time that you can get just a common sense, reasonable thing passed that would fix something, the fire gets closer to the rats. The fire gets closer to the rats, and now they're in desperation mode because we are nearing the line where they are running out of everything, and all they got to do is stall a little bit more and a little bit more, and we're going to be voting on these systems in November, and nothing's going to change. I'm sorry, but nothing's going to change because the further you push, especially now we've run out of time, and it's not on our lack of trying. It's the fact that this is where they wanted to be. In fact, they didn't want us to be here where we're at now. But you have to understand that the only thing that we can do, the only way that we can really combat all this right now in this step of the game is to vote. Whether you're doing Trump Force 47, whether you're out there with your GOPs, whether you start up a podcast tomorrow, whether you come on somebody's show, we have to have people vote. We have to overwhelm everything that they're going to throw at us. The Democrats, they don't give two craps. They've got the power, folks. Whereas the grassroots movement looking for reasonable legislature takes months, if not years, where court cases are still open filed. They're not even judgmented on. Where you have a non-existent Secretary of State, and occasionally every week you'll get a post saying, "Hey, we're going to get to the bottom of election integrity. All you got to do is let me know." Where you have a governor who has no kahunas whatsoever to stand up against the Democrat Party, right? Well, he don't want to stand up against his own people. You know, I get that. I kind of get that. He don't want to go against his own people, right? But where you have a governor in this state that's supposed to be on your side, truth, transparency, who's instead selling the state out to foreign interest and completely wreaking havoc on our ecosystem, not to mention other things. You don't have anybody. They're not going to comply They're literally looking for a way to get rid of these SCB members who they're painting all over the wall as ultra MAGA, ultra extreme. It's the stupidest thing I've ever read. But the very fact that we didn't even get a statement from our governor today or yesterday or the day before saying, this is asinine, this is stupid, this is not why I rolled in my white truck and got out. This is dumb. No, he's complicit. He's complicit. They're sending a clear message to you and to me and everybody else that you better back off because we ain't going to do it. So that's just it, folks. I'll save what I wanted to say about what I think criminality-wise this should be. But this is where we're at. Your vote matters more than anything. Your family, your friends. I'm telling you, I am planning on, around election time, I'm planning on doing some carpooling, some days where we just set up with vehicles ready to go to bring people down to vote because we need the numbers. The algorithms are against us. The voting machines are against us. Your state government is against you. The Democrats are against you. And a lot of these Republicans, so-called, these rhinos, a lot of these rhinos out there are against you. They would love nothing more than to see Kamala Harris come in the White House. Okay? So the only way that we're really going to combat this, and I don't mean to stop what we're doing, right? Don't get me wrong. I praise every day the people that do more than me to combat this, right? But the only way is we got to vote. We have to vote like we've never voted before. We've got to get all of our family, our friends, my coworkers that say, "Oh, voting's stupid. Well, I don't need to vote." It's no. You need it. We need that vote. Every single one of these votes is going to count because they're going to cheat in different ways and they cannot do what they did last time. And we've got an army of people now that know what the game is. So they're just blatantly throwing stuff. So you must vote in November. All right? Nothing else really. I'm not saying it doesn't matter. What I'm saying is that's the bottom line. All the way up, we've got, less than 70 days now. So please understand and make arrangements to vote because that's our last line. Because we are throwing everything we possibly can. And as you can see, the complete sheer idiocracy that's going on in this state right now, and that you have no help, no backup whatsoever. Nobody is out there on your side. You can't do anything without an uphill battle. And after all these victories and after all of this, now they're threatening to pull the SEB members off the board. This is nuts. And we, the people, can see this, and we, the people, are not going to forget about this. Make no mistake, no one is going to forget about any of this. And I will promise you that me, Small Town Underground, I will never hold my nose again and vote for a Republican, a Democrat. I'm not going to hold my nose any longer and ever vote for anything else. That's the only way that we stop this, okay? You're either going to have to burn it all down, which I am vehemently against. I'm against. But I'm not holding my nose and voting for anybody ever again. We, the people, is no longer business as usual. We're here to stay. We've proven this. We've made our point. And it's either going to get fixed or it's going to burn to the ground. You understand? I hope everybody is getting this out here. And to the folks that aren't here with us, we've got to engage them and get them to vote. That's all there is to it. That's what we have, and that's what we've got to do. Whew. So anyway, I hope I was able to make my point, and let's go to comments. I am pulling them up now. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Lisa says, thank you, brother. You're welcome. Happy birthday, girl. Says, yuck, we don't want her here. Oh, yeah, Kamala Harris. You know, it's my fault for not reading the dates on that. I read the article in bed the other night, and what it sounded like it was going to be a week long, but it was really just a day. I should know better than to skim an article, right? So, good riddance. It's the end of Thursday. Hopefully, she's back out cackling in another state, right? Dorothy says, Mama Dot is too. Way to go. Hey, everybody, this coming weekend, there's the Blue Ridge event. Let me get my phone real quick, and I've posted it. A lot of people have posted it, but Dorothy's hosting a event. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I can't pull it up, but it's a come together rally Saturday the 31st of August from 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at the Conservative Ground Cafe, Highway 515, John Wayne Road, Blue Ridge. Got a lot of people out there. Lucretia and Dave are going to be out there. Ray Blankenship's going to be there. Y'all need to come out and support this event. I wish I could be there, but I have to work this weekend. But it looks like it's going to be a good event. Dorothy says, cheat is their only language. That's 100%. Cheat is their only language. And the language is out in the open now, right? There's no more hiding it. You can't. I mean, 4 years of people digging through this stuff and understanding more and more of what's going on. You can't hide it any longer. They're not even trying to. But, I mean, we had a brain-dead vegetable in the White House for these last 4 years. We've literally watched the demise of Joe Biden. Like, Joe Biden is now... He's almost as irrelevant now as the assassination attempt. We've just forgotten about him because the lamestream media and everybody's just in cahoots with Kamala Harris and they're completely against us. It's funny to me. But, I mean, this is what kind of clown we're living in. And Dorothy says, I'd rather be called crazy any day than called commie. Amen to that. And Lisa Adams says, John Furvier. I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of it. Oh, yeah, it was an overflowing toilet. Yeah, I knew it was, but I was just making fun of those idiots. I mean, I remember I was up that night sitting there like, what? They've got a leak at State Farm Arena? Like, what's going on? And then getting up the next day and then seeing how other polling stations were closed and then putting cardboard up on the window so people couldn't look inside. That was nuts. I immediately was like, something's not right here. Something is not right. And at the time, I couldn't believe how coordinated it was, right? We couldn't believe. Like, I was flabbergasted. You never can believe how coordinated all this is. But now you look at how coordinated the media is. The CIA, the FBI, Facebook, the Twitter files. Everything's been coordinated. And it all comes down to money. Money, 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 money. Lisa says, televised it all, showed us videos over and over. They told us it didn't happen. Yeah, and they certainly did. Don't believe your lying eyes. And she said, they also said that we waited until right before the election to bring these things to the board. It's been in their faces for a long time. They should have done it months ago. Well, we know that. We know that these same things that we saw Garland Favreau last week. We've seen some of the integrity issues, progressing in good ways. Well, we know this stuff's been out there. They know it's been out there for a while. It's all about optics. I guarantee you they're paying people. These people got so much dark money. They're paying people just with millions of dollars to sit down and think about, like, probably calling in all kinds of data analytics and people that just sit down like, well, we have 76,000 minutes. We at this particular minute is when we need to drop this and drop that because it's all a waiting game. They want to bleed this thing out, right? They're just getting too uncomfortable. They're getting too uncomfortable with everything, and now they're freaking out, right? But they're trying to bleed this stuff out and just let it go on the wayside. And once November comes, it's going to be a whole different ball game, right? I mean, I can prove that by saying we never even got to 2022. We're still on 2020 because 2020 is still broken, right? It's a break in the matrix. And 2022 never even got dealt with. And here we're coming up in 24, and it's a train wreck. And Lisa says, so much evidence they're sitting on their hands telling others to sit down and shut up. That's another thing I didn't even get to tonight. But, it seems to me that if there's ample amount of evidence out there, why haven't we released it yet? Why aren't we releasing it? Why aren't we getting it out into the ether? Why are we making short drops here and short drops there? Or why are we complicit in not ramrodding more out there? So I don't know. That's a question that'll have to be answered on another night because, as in any movement, things happen and people go astray and people things fall apart and we're barely held together. But why? If there's more information out there, especially damning information that could really change things, we already know that Georgia was won by Trump. There's no secret to that. We already know that he would not be reinstated as the president, although there are theories out there that he is. I entertain everything. But that being said, guys, just know what you're up against and know that no matter what, your vote is going to count. Don't look at it the opposite way. Look at it how your vote is going to count infinitely more than it ever has. And that's what you need to walk away with, is that we have thrown every dart at the dartboard. All right. There may still be some darts out there, but it's going to be too little too late, right? Because the Democrats are running on that. That's what they're openly saying. Well, it's too late to do anything. This is all bullcrap. So your last line of defense is your vote. And everybody needs to know how important that is. So I appreciate everybody sticking with me this Thursday night. I had a lot of information to cover. I just have a special treat for some of y'all out there, but I didn't post this video yet, but I'm going to end the live stream with it. So big Rage Against the Machine fan growing up. I know they're a bunch of commies now. Of course, they probably were back then. But if you've ever watched the movie The Grapes of Wrath, you know about Tom Joad, and Rage Against the Machine did a great song called The Ghost of Tom Joad. And very near and dear to me. It's my favorite Rage song, but our band played it the other night and had a lot of fun, and it turned out good. So I thought I would end the show with that, because some folks out there told me this week they like how I use different music stuff, and you know, I'm just a 90s punk kid. But I'm going to end with that. We'll have some more coming up next week about the big events, and we'll be getting ready for that. And just remember, folks, don't ever stop fighting. It's never about that, but understand that this election is going to mean everything, and then we'll cover more on repercussions either way. But you have to be involved and you have to vote, because we've thrown just about everything we got at them, and they are scurrying. So we got to show up in numbers, folks. It's all there is to it. Anyway, I'm out. I'm going to close with this song, go home, get a good night's rest, and then work. Good luck, Dorothy, with your event this weekend. I hope y'all have a great turnout. Take lots of pictures and let us know how it goes. And this is me signing off. Y'all have a good week.